All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Extra Innings podcast. It's been a minute, but it's finally time that we return. We got some stuff to talk about today. First episode back, we got some stuff. But before we get there, I guess like the best way to put it, like housekeeping items, like I guess, or like stuff about what we have going on. My chair, I got a new chair. It's super, I don't know, like creaky. It's just weird. It doesn't do that. Turn on the thing to record, and all of a sudden we're all creaky and shit. But nonetheless, so we've had a couple people asking. The Instagram has been pretty much like vacant. I haven't gotten on there. Obviously, shaved my beard too. Beard's completely gone. I'm gonna grow my hair out, but my face. I'm not a fan of this clean shaven face. So the beard will be coming back, but that's not what I wanted to talk about. So we stopped doing podcasts after the World Series. I think I did like 2 off-season episodes, and I actually did one that I didn't post. It was about Juan Soto and some other things. And I just figured, like, I did it. I listened to it back over before I was going to put it up, and I was just not a fan of the way it came out. But I'll address what I feel about Juan Soto before we get into the meat and potatoes of this episode. But yeah, so had an episode, didn't put it out, and I thought I'm just going to take a break from the off season. I just wasn't a huge fan of doing anything. Like I listen to a lot of sports podcasts in the off season. A lot of it feels repetitive, especially November, December, January, right before camp. It just not a whole lot happening. I think there was a few moves that were dealt, like obviously the Juan Soto trade went down, the Blake Snell, the Roki Sasaki, which we all fucking knew he was going to the Dodgers anyway. It was never even going to be a competition. The media wanted to make it seem like there was going to be a bunch of teams in contention, and we all knew there wasn't going to be. I mean, you'd have to be kind of crazy to think he was going to sign with like Toronto or whatever, but that was never going to happen. I think the other one was Corbin Burns going to the Orioles. That was a big one. But yeah, I mean, there was just a couple moves here and there that would have required a social post, not enough to, I think, write a whole episode for. So I was just kind of like, are we really going to do an episode a week about the same shit over and over and over again? Just didn't seem like in the best interest. So I figured, okay, we'll wait. I've been a little bit late, started a new job, so I haven't really had like a consistent schedule. I know I'm late. I really wanted to start this probably a couple weeks earlier, obviously, as spring training started about a month ago, or we're approaching a month of spring training, right? Obviously, season starts in about 17 days, March 27th, opening day. You got the opening series in Japan with the Dodgers. Obviously, that's the other thing, man. Like, before we even get into what I had written for today, the whole thing with Roki Sasaki and all that, like he was gonna go to the Dodgers. They're opening in Japan. Like, come on. It was all almost storybook written at this point, but nonetheless. So I thought, is it worth really doing an episode a week for the same shit over and over again? I just didn't feel it. I didn't think it was gonna be beneficial. So here we are. I know, again, a couple weeks late, but we're back. We're here. This year I've got some stuff planned. It's going to actually be a little bit different than last year. Mostly in the sense that I'm going to have a co-host. I'm hoping for the next episode, maybe not this week's episode and maybe not every episode, but my buddy Jake plays on my Sunday league team, super knowledgeable, a stat nerd to the gills all the way through. Every Sunday I feel like we're just chopping it up for probably hours if you compile all the in between innings and the times that we're like, because there's 2 teams that we have, and sometimes I stay for both, and we'll just chop up baseball for the entirety of the game between innings, whatever. And I'm just like, there's no better person to do this with. Like, we are just literally just stat nerds to the gills, just talking back and forth baseball the whole time. So he's going to be setting up. I got to get him some extra equipment that I have that I want him to use. It's going to be a blast, man. I'm super pumped. It'll be a lot, maybe some clashing stuff, just more to it than just me talking to you guys by myself here in my office. So it just makes more sense. It makes more sense, make it more fun, get some more, different facets, some different takes on some stuff. So I'm pretty excited. Nonetheless, we should be posting twice a week is the plan. We'll still have social stuff. So follow us on Instagram, TikTok. Well, I was a little unsure of all, this whole time going into it, but we finally got it back. I was actually afraid because I deleted TikTok. The night that they were like, it's going to be gone, it was off the App Store for a couple weeks. And I was one of those people that was like, if it's gone, why am I going to have it on my phone? Deleted the accounts or deleted my app, which held my personal, which didn't have jack shit on it. And then the extra innings account. And I was like, oh shit, like it came back. They're like, it's back. Oh my God. So everyone that had TikTok could continue using it. And if you deleted it, you're pretty much shit out of luck. And for a while I was shit out of luck and wasn't sure if those accounts were still going to be there, but luckily they're still there. We're good. So I got those reactivated back up. We're not doing Twitter. I just don't see the point. So Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, man, follow, subscribe, whatever you call it. We'll have a lot of stuff on there, shorts, extra posts, content, stats, whatever. Just follow it. You never know what's going to pop up. So nonetheless, we're here today. And we're going to start with Yankee news because your boy's a little nervous. I'm a little worried. I'm actually a lot worried. I'm not going to lie. So the first thing on my list today, we've got, will Gerrit Cole get Tommy John? Now, it's been all over the news. It really hit the fan probably late last week. I think on Friday or Saturday, maybe even Thursday night. I don't remember for sure. That Gerrit Cole was going to be heading out to get MRIs on his elbow. Now, I'm gonna be honest. When it first happened, when I first heard the news, I got a little bit where I was like, huh, like I don't know. But remember last year, if you're a Yankee fan or just a baseball fan, sorry, my allergies are killing me. Last year, Gerrit Cole didn't start the year till May. He had, I think I have an article pulled up here kind of talking about it from The Athletic. So last spring, he had a couple weeks in spring training. I don't even think he made it to I think he had maybe one appearance kind of similar to this, and was shut down super early with elbow inflammation. And I think it says he has an edema in his arm. Which at that point, everyone ruled out Tommy John. It wasn't that big a deal. We knew he was going to be back at some point in the year. And with how, stout the Yankees were last year, it wasn't that big a deal. We had Heel that stepped up, a couple other guys here and there in the rotation that really stepped up. So it worked. But this year is not the same. We're not talking edema. We're not talking inflammation. No, straight to MRI. And as of this morning, I think early this morning, I was at the gym about 5:30 early this morning, and the news broke that they actually they got the results back, and the first doctor recommended Tommy John. Now, that's devastating, number one, because he is the ace. Now, we know that they went and got Max Fried. They got Devin Williams. They're going to have a couple guys return. They have guys stepping up, Will Warren. They were trying to deal Marcus Stroman all fucking year. Didn't get rid of him. And luckily they didn't get rid of him. I'm not even sure really what to expect of him, but now they're going to have to use him. Like he was going to be the sixth starting pitcher who's now going to have to step into probably the 3-4-5 role now. I don't know. And Heel's not going to be back till May either with the lat problem. So it's kind of looking kind of weird. You've also got Giancarlo Stanton, who's apparently got busted ass elbows. He just swings. I don't quite understand where that comes from, but whatever. So Stanton's out. You're gonna. Luckily, they got Max Fried, who can, I guess, technically replace Cole in a way. But then you're having to rely on some rookies because you got no Heel. You're gonna have to rely on Will Warren, a couple other guys from probably AAA to come in and make it work. I don't know. You're gonna rely on Marcus Stroman, and then you're gonna have to rely on the bullpen probably to get you through some outs, some innings. I don't know, but it's just not looking great. It's not looking good. Cole did go get a second opinion. If the first doctor, which I'm sure is, you go to the first guy, is probably a good guy, right? I mean, you're going to have to hope that he knows what he's doing, gives you a recommendation for Tommy John. I'm sure the second opinion's not going to be any different, which is obviously not good. But I digress. So that's the first thing. I'm a little nervous. Some notes I took here is, should they have done more at the deadline? I don't know. I think that they knew the pitching was a little bit light. I think that they knew that, last year's starters, they had Cole, they had Stroman, who didn't pitch a playoff inning. You had Heel, Rodon, who I know people are in and out on Rodon. He's got flashes of good. I don't trust the dude on the mound. I mean, after this, I just don't trust him, man. You don't know what you're going to get out of him. So worried about that. Then you got Stroman, who they didn't have enough faith to even throw in the postseason, not even coming out of the bullpen. Worrisome. So I'm just sitting here okay, all these guys they have, then again, Will Warren is having a strong spring, so give it to the guy. just a little worrisome. I don't know. They went out and got Paul Goldschmidt. They got Bellinger, so they did add technically to the offense along with Judge, also Wells. They got still Jazz Chisholm, Aaron Judge. Hopefully, all those guys. The offense should be fine. I'm not super worried about the offense. I'm worried about that. But then again, with Stan out, who was a key piece, because obviously the Yankees, like, we're not even talking about the regular season. Like, I think they're going to do fine. There's really no contenders in that division to really give them any shit, just like it was last year. I mean, you didn't have any problems going until you got to the Dodgers. Then there was a problem. Like, they got outed in some spots, some defensive issues, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. I'm truly going to be interested to see what happens. So I'm thinking the offense is going to have to really put on, depending on how the starting pitching shapes up. They got a decent bullpen. Not really worried about the bullpen. They got, Devin Williams coming in. They got Luke Weaver returning. I think they got Tim Hill coming back. So lots of guys coming back. Shouldn't be a big issue. Now some other injuries, a big injury that we saw, 3 big injuries, and then we're going to talk about 3 returns, which I'm super excited about. Moving away from the Yankees, on the other side of the city, I guess, you got Francisco Alvarez, who is hurt. I don't remember. It's something in his hand, I think. Let me see. Francisco. He's going to miss some time. I was watching MLB Network, and they were talking about it this morning. I'm sorry. This dude's picture is brutal. Hat to the... What the fuck is that? Anyway, yeah, 6 to 8 weeks. Let's see what it says. I don't remember the specifics of the injury. I just have left hamate bone. Yep. So that's tough. So 6 to 8 weeks. They're going to miss their catcher there. I'm not great defensive player. I mean, he's obviously a key piece to this lineup, was a key piece last year. I think he's a little bit of a wild card at the plate, but whatever. But yeah, so that's a big injury. Not on top of a lot of the other injuries that they've had. I mean, they've got issues with Manaea, a couple of other guys that have gone down. Yeah, Manaea's down with an oblique issue. Frankie Montas, they brought in, who's missing 6 to 8 weeks. And then Nick Madrigal also, who dislocated his shoulder. So a bunch of injuries. I don't think Manaea was big for them last year. Montas they picked up. He was probably expected to be a big role. But the other thing with this is that as these guys have gone down, Clay Holmes, who they picked up in the offseason, he's having himself a fucking spring. And you know what, man? You know who could fucking use Clay Holmes right now? I'm not even going to say it. But we all know where Clay Holmes could be used right about now. Whatever. Another notable injury is Grayson Rodriguez of the Orioles, who is down as well, who got shut down today with an elbow injury. Well, they're not calling it an elbow injury. They're calling it tricep discomfort, which, I mean, if you know, I mean, it's like, hey, it's in there. And this is all, anything tricep, forearm, it's all related. A lot of times it might be just the media, trying to redirect you away from Tommy John, but that's what it is, right? So he may be out for a while. Let me see what they got on him. Yeah, back of his elbow. Brother, some of these things, I swear to God, they just don't want to say it. So he got a cortisone shot, which they're supposed to say cortisone, in a sense, is like a quick fix. It's like one of those things where it's like, well, it'll help you recover faster. I mean, that's essentially what this is, right? It'll help you recover faster from whatever fatigue issues you're feeling. I don't quite know if that's that big a deal. Obviously, he's going to be shut down for 7 to 10 days as he got that shot. But, I think he'll be back. I think he'll be fine. Another one was George Kirby, who's going to go down for the Mariners. Let me see what his is. I can't keep all these windows open as much as I would, because it's going to slow down my computer. I'm not really about that. You know what I'm saying? So George Kirby also down, shoulder inflammation. And you know what? Like, everyone's probably like, I saw a couple articles, probably a bunch of meatheads who don't know what they're talking about. Everyone's like, oh my God, it's all these injuries, so many injuries. I'm like, it's that point of spring where guys who may have had stuff linger at the end of the year, they take the time, rehab, fix, rest, whatever, come back, and those things linger on. So this is stuff that's probably been lingering, especially like the arm issues were probably happening last year. Not bad enough to where you needed to say something. Maybe these guys weren't contenders in any races, and they just held on to it. I think Cole may have overdone it because he had issues before. Like the left hamate bone, probably something that was already hurting, probably something he was playing through. And now here we are, right? But yeah, so George Kirby's down, that's kind of a blow, pretty big blow for Mariners and Mariners fans. Shoulder inflammation is no joke, man. That's that labrum. You don't fuck with your labrum, bro. That shit hurts. It's not good. It's not good. So George Kirby down, Grayson Rodriguez down, and Francisco Alvarez. Those are the three biggest injuries I saw today. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, I'm pretty excited. You know, we got guys. So the biggest one, I'm a huge fan of this guy. Spencer Strider is looking to make his return. Hopefully, he's looking to play a game in a Grapefruit League this week, at least to face some sort of game action. He's nearing ready. And if you don't know, Spencer Strider was a big piece of the Braves. And it's going to be pretty exciting to see that he's coming back. You know, I'm excited. I'm pretty pumped for this. But here's something that I didn't know existed, which I'm kind of upset because I needed Tommy John. I had a partial tear in my UCL, you know, way back when. Obviously, I don't think this existed yet. But there's a thing now going around. He's not the first person to get this. I think another couple guys have had this. So he had a rip in his UCL or a tear, and they repaired it with a synthetic brace, which has an 84.5% recovery rate and sustainability rate. And only like 60% of guys had a re-rupture. I don't know if those are ball players or just in general. I'm not sure. This is just literally a medical thing I found an article reading earlier. It's kind of cool. Like, what? When did this come in? Like, because I would have loved to have that opportunity. They were like, yo, and the thing with Tommy John is it's a strict like 16 to 18 months to come back to where you were prior to injury, right? So you could not get it and still throw. It's going to hurt like a bitch, but you won't be anywhere near, you know, where you were before, you know? So you need that full 18 months. I mean, I think Bryce Harper came back in a year. Some guys, but Bryce Harper, again, is a position player, not a pitcher. So he's not, you know, full on putting a whole lot on there. Obviously hitting and stuff does strain it, but it's not as rigorous as a pitcher. But yeah, so this procedure, this synthetic brace they're putting on your UCL only requires 9 to 12 months. I'm sure this goes to the severity of the rip, the severity of the tear. But again, so Strider's coming back, and he's looking like he's getting ready to face batters. I would assume he'll be back if all goes well, no setbacks, no, you know, other injuries, maybe no rupture, whatever, you know, fingers crossed. I'm hoping he's back by May, which would be huge for the Braves. DeGrom saw his first action again as well, which is exciting. I'm a huge fan of Jacob DeGrom. His stats are fucking awesome. You know, he pitched yesterday for the first time and did great. He said he's not looking for velo, which is huge. 2 perfect frames in his first outing. Obviously, they're not going to rush him in. They're sure they're going to load manage him, which is sick, dude. This is awesome. I mean, a guy who needs it, man. A guy who they, you know, especially the Rangers, they could use him after winning in 23. Nowhere to be found in 24. Hoping to bounce back. They have a lot of pitching options. So adding DeGrom to that rotation is huge. But, you know, I was watching MLB Network, and he's, you know, mentioning that he's not in it for the velo, which is sick. I mean, he's not in it. Like, he's still sitting 97, right? But he can ramp it up to that 100, 101. So that's exciting. And then the last guy, obviously, Sandy Alcantara, who missed all of last year and I think a little bit of 22, a little bit of 23 with Tommy John. He's back again. Man, and there's some rumors that the Yankees could be making a bid for him. I don't know how true that is, Brad. I'm not going to make anything. I'm hearing you know, I do go on Twitter to read. I don't post because I just, whatever, but I do read because a lot of big news drops on Twitter from a lot of, you know, analysts and stuff, guys who have inside scoops, right? And that's the thing. Will the Yankees make a bid for one of these other guys? Some of these guys, maybe a Jordan Montgomery who's sitting, I don't know, you know, maybe a veteran, maybe Lance Lynn, I don't know, or Sandy Alcantara, because the Yankees could use Sandy Alcantara. Let's just be honest, because he's getting wasted in Miami. I mean, they traded, you know, last year with Luis Arraez, they traded him away. They pretty much sold a team. I mean, what's he really competing for in Miami? I mean, the Miami might as well just let him go and just keep doing whatever the fuck they're doing over there. I mean, I don't know, but it would be a good spot. The Yankees could use him, and he's a stud, man. Like, why? Yeah, but you know, obviously he's coming out, tearing it up. He's in positive spirits. Looks like he's feeling good. So another great, and these are good for baseball. I'm a Yankee fan, but I'm a baseball fan first. And these are just guys you want in the game because they're fun to watch and they're good for the game, which is why, like, aside from a Yankee fan, Garrett Cole's sidelining would suck because he's fun to watch. He's good for baseball, man. But yeah, that's a little bit downgraded. Now to move on, got two things of Dodgers news that I want to talk about. One is there's news that Ohtani, his pitching is getting pushed back. He threw off, there was a lot of videos of him throwing off the mound early in spring training. But again, Shohei coming to Fortnite. I don't know. That'd be kind of sick, but I don't think so. I saw an article that they're slowing down Shohei. There's a lot of different talk about this. People are like, he should do both. You paid him all this money. He should do both. You got guys that are saying he can't do both. He needs to just be a hitter. You got guys that the very small majority want him to just pitch, which, believe me, they're out there. The small few, like, it's stupid, but they're out there. So he had UCL surgery back in 2023. So we're almost going 2 years ago on the surgery. And it was big that he was throwing and everyone was losing their fucking minds because he's throwing. Oh my God. And then obviously we stopped seeing him throw and it all kind of ceased. And I'm trying to find the article. I can't find it. I saw it. Where'd it go? Yeah. So they're calling it slow playing his pitching. I don't really know. Oh, here we go. Yes, he's great. Yeah, we know he's great. Ohtani isn't just recovering from UCL. Oh, that's right. I forgot. I completely forgot about that when he hurt himself in the World Series. I didn't even think about that. So I guess that maybe set it back further because he did, what did he do? But also non-throw. Yeah, his shoulder. So he could face live batters in May. He'll face live batters potentially before the Tokyo series, so maybe like in a week or so. But he won't return to full action until potentially May or a little bit earlier than that. I don't know. I personally, I just feel like, so right here we got Dave Roberts, who we're also going to talk about. Dave Roberts, who made a little bit of history today. We just felt that to intensify bullpens alongside the intensity of games wasn't smart, so we wanted to slow play it. That's what Roberts said. Which, dude, when asked if Ohtani could return to the rotation in May, he wouldn't commit. We don't know. What kind of question is that? He's not going to know. We're trying to get to opening day, guys. We're not worried about May. Like, he's going to be hitting. That's fine, but whatever. Personally, if you ask me, thinking like long-term, career longevity, I don't know if really being a two-way player is if you're able to really do it to the fullest, right? Because baseball's a long season. The wear and tear on your body as a DH alone, and with him stealing bags, like, he steals bags like no other, right? He steals a lot of bags, so he's running. It's a lot of wear and tear on your body, and also, wanting him to pitch, that's asking a lot. I know he's a stud. I know he throws 100. I know he's nasty. We get it. No questions asked. We understand. But for his career, will he be able to truly do both long term? Because he's already doing phenomenal things at the plate. Do you risk that to put him on the mound, especially with the Dodgers pitching rotation? They got Dustin May back. They got Glass now. They've got Blake Snell. They got Yamamoto. Now they've got Roki Sasaki. I mean, like, do you really need him to? That's the other question. Do you need him to? The answer is no. You don't fucking need him to. So why risk it? I agree here. Don't push it. If he wants to pitch, we'll get him the innings. We'll see where he's at later down the line. He's still recovering. He ripped his shoulder out of place in game 2 of the World Series. He had Tommy John in 23. Let the man just roll into it, take it easy, and then we'll see where we're at. Because I think that he's just a great hitter, and maybe he should be just that, personally. Now, on to David Roberts. Dave Roberts signed a massive 4-year extension. People are saying, like, of course, like, why wouldn't they? I agree. Like, why wouldn't you sign him? Over $32 million. So he got paid, dude. Dave Roberts' 4-year deal worth reported $32.4 million. Passes the 5-year $40 million to Greg Counsell a couple years ago when he was with the Cubs, or when he signed with the Cubs. I like Dave. I don't like the Dodgers. I don't care for the Dodgers. I thought the way that they celebrated was a bit much. Even coming, I put a Yankee fan aside. I get it again. I know you're gonna think I'm biased. Put that aside. All the shit talking, all that crap. I wasn't a fan of that. Win your shit. Win. Celebrate your thing and let it be. There's no need to throw shade at the other team. We get it. You smacked the shit out of them. No need to, add insult to injury. Thought that was a little bit low. But Dave Roberts never said shit. So I respect Dave Roberts as a manager. I think he's a phenomenal manager. He's shown success over and over and over again. Granted, he's been given a lot of great pieces to work with, but even with the injuries pitching wise, which is hard to work through, especially last year. I mean, he was missing Dustin May, Gonsolin. They missed Glasnow for a while. No Kershaw. They were really like tooth and nail trying to fight with guys last year. So believe me, I that can be hard to do altogether, and he made it work, which is impressive. So all hands down, Dave Roberts with a massive deal. Can't complain, man. He earned that. He earned that all the way. What else I got on here? Okay, so we got two more pieces to talk about. I guess I'll talk about real quick. I'll kind of squeeze it in here because I said at the beginning I was going to talk about it because I never released the episode. Juan Soto. Was Juan Soto worth? And I know I'm late and everyone's over this shit, but I got to say my piece because I never put it out there. I never said, if you know me, I've talked about it before. Is he worth what he signed for? Absolutely fucking not. He's already making fucking errors in the outfield. I've seen the video where he can't even make a running. It just looked bad. Terrible defense. That alone should disqualify you from at least $100 million off of that contract. Even then, that's maybe 200 because still that would put him at like 600. That's ridiculous. Great hitter. Should not have been paid more than 500 in my opinion, but whatever. It doesn't matter. Anyway, no, Juan Soto's not worth that much. And he's already making errors. People are like, oh my God, you're a Yankee fan. Look at game 5. I get it. Judge made an error. He made probably count on your fucking hand how many errors he made. It just happened to happen that time. Right. But anyway, moving on from Juan Soto, I had to squeeze it in there because people were going to ask what I thought. Kind of a weird, the Rays. Apparently Manfred, this is news that broke this morning, is pressuring. Let me just type in Manfred Rays. Okay. So apparently, and this is kind of a weird situation. Obviously, if you haven't heard, there was that big hurricane last year, completely demolished Tropicana. No ceiling. There wasn't going to be ready to play this year. And, I guess the Yankees made a deal with the Rays ownership group that they were going to be able to play at Steinbrenner Field, though that was going to give them a shit ton of road games this year. Happens, right? They had a place to play, get it, whatever. But apparently, because of that thing, I guess, MLB wasn't a fan of that. Not a fan of not having a home field, having to use spring training fields, though Steinbrenner Park's that's a really nice field. Apparently they're getting pressure to sell the team by Major League Baseball. So Stu Sternberg is the owner of the Tampa Bay Rays, and he bought them for $200 million in 2004. So he's owned them for a minute, about 21 years he's owned, or 20 years, at least last year too, he's owned them. And it looks like they're getting pressured into sell the franchise. I'm assuming they wanted him to drop cash to fix that field ASAP, which, the Rays are a low budget org, right? They've produced some really great guys. Randy Arozarena came out of there. Blake Snell came out of there. Back in the day, David Price came out of there. Evan Longoria. So they've had pieces, obviously lower end, and they always sell. Go figure. Glasnow, another one that came from the Rays. A lot of great players that have come out of there, but they've never retained. Though they did go to the World Series in 2020. That was a great series to watch. But again, did it with a very, very, very small budget. It was just one of those things. And that's the great thing about baseball is even with those small budget teams, you can make shit happen, right? But again, obviously, Tropicana has pretty low attendance. I think it only holds about 42,000 people from this article I'm reading here. But MLB doesn't want to comment on it, right? But apparently under the thing, they're like, it's time to sell. But they won't. The Athletics kind of haven't made the Athletics sell, but they're going to make the Rays sell. Just makes no fucking sense. The Athletics should have been sold a long time ago, but now you're going to pressure the Rays. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know, but that'll be interesting. So it's a little bit unclear what's going to happen. I don't know if it'll happen now. The season starts in 17 days, so a little over 2 weeks. Will anything happen between now and then? I don't think so, but just something to kind of look out for. I don't know if that's actually going to happen or what, but oh man, that's kind of shitty. That's kind of shitty. I agree. Put more into the program, put more into the org, but the pressure to sell, I don't know. Let's see. Okay, the last thing I got on here as we wrapping up here, some top prospects that I've been watching. Obviously, if you've been watching spring training. The first one on my list is Jackson Jobe. And if you haven't heard Jackson Jobe, dude, go type him in on YouTube, Google him. Dude is nasty. Kind of like came out of nowhere. I didn't hear a lot about him until this past, like, as spring training started, kind of in this, right before spring training, a lot of people were talking about him. Dude is nasty, goes up to 102 with his fastball, nasty slider. I don't know. He better make the opening day roster. I mean, if anything, they're going to gatekeep him and maybe bring him up later. Maybe you don't think he's fully ready. I think he's fully ready. I mean, he came back late last year. Obviously, the Tigers, he did. I think it was the first round. I think it was not the wild card, but the divisional. I think. Don't quote me on that. I don't remember specifically there because Cleveland beat them to get to the Yankees. So yeah, no, it was a wild card. They got beaten the wild card, right? Wild card because I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And then he made some postseason appearances out of the bullpen. I remember seeing that. So they pulled him up late. He should be, I mean, there's no doubt. He better be like their guy, right? They got Jack Flaherty back, a couple other pieces, Tarek Skubal, and now this guy. That's 3 solid starters. I'd put Jack Flaherty behind both of them personally, but still great starters to go into the season with a pretty solid lineup. So it'll be interesting to see. But number one guy to watch, Jackson Jobe, all the way. Who was the other one? Christian Moore came out of Tennessee, was a big one. Let me see if I can find him on here. Christian Moore. They have him low on here, dude. Hagen Smith was another one, a big dude. Okay, we'll just skip Jack Caglione, guy out of Florida, dual guy, left-handed pitcher. He throws hard. I think he's going to be just a straight-up hitter. They're not expecting him this year. I think we see him late, maybe like August, September. For the Royals, obviously their mixes. They got a couple guys, Pascatino, Bobby Witt. They still got Salvador Perez. They got some guys, no doubt. They got some guys, but this dude is one guy that I've watched him hit. Every time you see him at the plate, he is just a monster, dude. An absolute freak of nature. He wants to do both. I've known he's talked about it. I don't think they're gonna let him. But I wouldn't, honestly. He hits the ball upwards to 121 miles an hour off the bat and just drops absolute bombs. 6'5" frame. Dude is a monster out of Florida. I don't know. He's a guy, man. He's a dude. Who is texting me? Okay. Asking me how my arm feels. Bruh, it hurts all the time. All right. Who else we got? I didn't realize Max Clark was he's not on my list. And I actually talked to Max Clark on my other podcast, which I don't know if it's still up or not. I don't know what they did with that shit, but great dude, man. He's just fun to talk to. What a really good dude. Rooting for him all the way. They're not projecting him to go till 2027. He's another Tiger, so another piece that they're probably got in their back pocket. Don't want to rush it. He's just entering his 20s. He's a young dude out of high school, this guy. So 6 feet, 6 foot. He's not a huge dude. He throws 98.1 out of the outfield. Stud. They don't have a whole lot on him, which is surprising that they have him at the number 6 prospect, but he's got a lot of trajectory. That's what I'll say. But I'm surprised they have him that. He wasn't even on my list, but whatever. Will Warren, where's he at? Will Warren for the Yankees. Now, we've had a lot of talks about him. Where is this fucker? Ooh, I'm trying to find Christian Moore. That's the one guy I want to talk about, but I don't want to misspeak. So I want to kind of talk about like specifics of his stats and stuff. Yeah, there he is, Christian Moore. I know he's the Angels. Obviously, if you didn't watch the College World Series last year, dude ripped it up. Big first round pick. Didn't get him, like, he's number 8 overall. They got him for below $5 million, which is crazy. I mean, it's the Angels. What do you expect, right? But he should make an impact. I'm thinking that he's here this year. Maybe if not making the opening day roster, like probably we'll see him in May. I say at the latest. That'll be interesting to see. I'm actually excited to see him. That dude is a stud, speed, strength, all of it, all in one. If you haven't watched him, again, these weeks, I think this week starting on Sunday. I don't know for sure. I would check me on this, but the spring breakout with all the studs, I'm gonna be watching shit. I don't know about you, but I'm gonna be watching those because all the studs are gonna come out. So he's another guy I had on my list. Obviously, Dylan Cruz is another guy. I had Dylan Cruz next. Is Roki, and this is the thing I've argued again with Roki Sasaki. I hate talking about it, but Roki Sasaki, is he technically a prospect? They have him starting at AAA. I don't know if he's going to make the big league roster. How he doesn't, I don't know. But he was the number 1 overall player up in Japan. Obviously played in the World Baseball Classic with Shohei and Yamamoto. I feel like he's going to be like a guy out the bullpen. I mean, they have so many. The Dodgers have so many starters. Where do you fit this guy? I mean, obviously the thing with the Dodgers, though, have so many starters. Some of them are injury prone. You know, Yamamoto gets injured a lot. Glasnow, I don't think, has ever made it through a full year. Dustin May, all those guys have had injuries. So there's a spot for him to be in the rotation. I'm sure at some point this year, someone's going to go down. It's baseball. It's a long season. It's going to happen. But he's nasty. I don't know if y'all watched him pitch. Dude is nasty. Apparently he's starting at AAA. So maybe he is a prospect. I don't know how that works. Whatever. So we got Will Warren's the other guy. So let me find the New York Yankees. Boom. Will Warren, where you at? Come on. All right. So Will Warren, I think he's made his debut a couple times. I think some spot starts. He's been the guy that they've got in their back pocket with all these with all these pitching issues. He's going to have to be this year. There's no question. They're going to need him this year. 100%, no questions. He's definitely going to be MLB level. He didn't have a great AAA, which is why people were worried, especially the guys over at John Boy. I listen to them all the time. They're going to need him. Like, there's no question. They're going to need him. So another big dude. He's only about 93, 96. He doesn't throw overly hard, but he's got good breaking stuff. He's got good depth to his pitches, which is extremely necessary here. I mean, you're not expecting him to come in and fill any big shoes, but he's going to be needed in some spot starts, maybe out of the bullpen if all goes well and Cole's back, maybe by June, July. And don't call me an idiot because I'm just wishful thinking that this is nothing serious. I know the odds. But yeah, I mean, he's a good option. So I think I've got all the ones I had. Yeah, we talked Dylan Cruz, Jackson Joe, Christian Moore, Dylan Cruz, and Sasaki. So again, the spring breakout games are going to be sick. Don't miss them. I'm going to be watching them. Obviously, spring training slowly coming to an end. A lot of guys are making debuts. A lot of guys are ramping up. Season starts in 17 days. It's going to be awesome. So with that, we'll wrap this up, guys. Thank you so much for tuning back in. I appreciate it. Again, we got a new guy coming on to help us with this. It should be pretty cool. Should be fun to kind of bounce ideas, bounce different thoughts, because right now it's just me and my thoughts, and some of y'all don't agree. But hey, maybe somebody on this will also disagree, and we'll get some different stuff rolling. So it'll be fun. It'll be good. Again, thank you so much for listening. Follow us, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, subscribe on YouTube. Can you follow on? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you can follow on YouTube or not, but if you can, do it. Why not, right? But thanks again, guys, so much. I appreciate it. Again, we may have another episode this week. We may just wait for Jake. I'm not 100% sure, but just tune in. Keep your notifications on when a episode drops. We got posts. We got stuff on YouTube. Don't miss it. But yeah, guys, thank you so much, and we will catch you guys in the next episode.